Hello there, Star Wars toy fans. This is Jim, and welcome to my workbench. Well, the purpose of today's video is to give you a tip on how you can tighten up the landing gear for the Hasbro A-wing. It seems that all the A-wings have this tendency that when you lower the landing gear and then set the ship down, it does this. Instantly collapses. Now, if you're not familiar with the A-wing, that's how the landing gear works. And this basically is the same exact mold produced in 1985 from the Droids line. I do not happen to have a Droids ship. They're really, really pricey. But I do have the three Hasbro A-wings. And this one was produced in 2008 and was a Walmart exclusive. Now, I did not buy it then, at the time. At the time, I was restoring a Model T, and that's where my funds went. But I just recently picked this up off eBay, and it's in really pretty good shape. So I want to make sure that the landing gear is pretty tight. And I did this for my son's 1997 ship, and it worked really well. So we're going to try this on this ship. Now, this has a lot more screws than the one that my son's had from 1997. That one only had 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one has an additional 4. So we're going to take this apart first, and then we'll examine the landing gear, and I'll show you a little trick to be able to tighten them up. Well, that should just about do it. It's interesting that they use 2 small screws, one here and one up front. And typically I would think the smaller ones would be up front, but can hold that either way. Okay, so now the top part of the hole, make sure I got them all out, should just pop right off. Now, is there a new one that I don't know about? Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So we have our guns that go in there. And this is totally different than the 1997. Okay. And interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. So, here we have our lever mechanism, and this is a little bit different. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, yeah, the 1997 had round tubes right there. Okay, so I wonder, we unscrew that, and that holds everything in place. These had a tendency to pop out of alignment, and so maybe that's why Hasbro decided to upgrade the design. So it's a little bit different. Okay, I'm gonna pop that out, and we're only now. Yeah, okay, so it's not round, it's square. Interesting. All right, So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some shrink tubing. And we're going to apply some shrink tubing to this whole thing. And you're going to need an X-Acto knife. You can measure it if you'd like, or just eyeball it. That's what I'm going to do. Now, that should do it. Make sure it's the right diameter shrink tubing. Okay. And now I'm going to cut a slit. Camera's right in my light. And we're just going to slide that over. So I need to go a little bit further. Okay. Nice. Now what I'm going to do is cut out a notch for the top part of the landing gear. Now I'm going to take the heat gun and we are going to shrink wrap that down. Trim that up just a bit. Okay. Now we will put this back in. You want to make sure that you got the toe going the right way. Fits into the center portion. And now we'll put this locking mechanism back in. That's most interesting. The 2004 Target release that's based on, is the olive drab one that's based on the Galoob version. This is going to be difficult, isn't it? Let's grab some tweezers. That one also has the additional 4 screws in it. So I would guess that the 97 is probably the closest one to the 1985 version. I've never opened one of these up before, so it's kind of a new thing. Okay. Now, let's get you cinched down. There we are. Okay. Let's see. That should provide some, oh yeah. It's going to give some nice resistance there. That might just do the trick. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. So I paused the video, and in the meantime, I decided to cut a piece here. And so what I did was I ended up cutting a longitudinal slit and then a little notch for this piece in the landing gear. Now we'll go ahead and assemble it in. Okay. Should be a pretty easy fix. So there's one center hole for it to go in. Make sure that the toe of the landing gear is facing forward. Now we will put this little piece on. Again, that's kind of probably a smart idea. The 1997 version did not have this. Okay. All right. And then it's just reassembly. Now let's see how this works. I think that's going to hold the ship up just fine. Okay, so upon examination of this, there's several pieces that need to fit in. This is just kind of a press fit, so if this falls out, you can see like that. There's 2 pins right there for the engines. It doesn't have the screw like it did for the 1997 version. And then this is just going to slip right in like so. And it's got 2 little grooves here. Slip into the fuselage. Get your guns in. And those are going to have to be just a minute. So you notice I did not come straight down. The tails are tapered. Make sure everything is lined up, and it's not. Okay. And now I think we're close to assembly. Yep. Then it's just a matter of screwing things back together. Okay. Alright, it's not going to collapse. And landing gear folds up nicely and releases nicely. So there you go. You can use shrink tubing, tighten things up in your A-wing, whether it be a 1997, 2004, or a 2008 version. Take care. Hope you found this video useful, and we'll see you on a future one.